loading.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
So let's get to it. Bring the pain! What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring a pain from another dimension like my boy DJ Magic Mike. However, I got Dan with me. You know what that means. It's another episode of the Fight Club of Pain. What's going on, Dan? How you doing today?
Oh, I'm tired, man. Work hard, but I'm here to talk. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm all about it right now. Because right now the Dodgers are playing. I want them to win. I got money on them. It's been a really crazy day at Dr. Roto, so if you've not been to the site, you need to get to Dr. Roto right now. Use code word DOC. Get a percentage off of your subscription and get into that subs only Discord. I cannot tell you, we hit a lot of home runs right off the go, and everybody's just like, all right, the rest of the day is good. Now we got Fantasy Clown already throwing in bets for basketball and hockey. He's been doing that all day, but now he has some extra money. And that's what a lot of our people are. They like to be our rich friends. Yeah. Woo! Damn, dude. Baseball season's here. I know you're not so much into baseball, but that's all right.
More of a football guy. Football
I
and
know.
fighting. Football and fighting.
You do know you have a pitcher named Skeens, right? Yeah.
Oh,
he's really good.
I do know who Paul Skeens is. Everybody knows.
I mean, it's plastered all over your city. So
Yeah. We haven't seen anything like it since Doug Drabeck here.
Oh, what? No, I think the last great player you had was Andrew McCutchen when he first was big.
Pitchers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just trying to use them hands too much, you boxer. Yeah, man. So let's say last week was a bad beat. It was a lot of bad beats for everybody. We didn't do particularly well. It was our worst week. And, there were some decisions that didn't go our way. And there were some things that kind of went our way, but kind of didn't give us the result that we wanted, or we banked on a little bit more money. But luckily, we covered our asses because that's what I did. I did the under 4.5, of course, for Leon Edwards and Brady. But it was like, man, dude, that fight, dude.
He looked like a shell of himself. He looked like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, a lot of people picked up on that. And I was listening to my dude Mad real quick, and he goes, it looked like for the first time in my lifetime that in a Leon Edwards fight, he looked emotionally checked out. Yeah. Literally. He looked checked out. I was like, damn, dude.
That was mid-first round.
Yes.
Round. He was done.
Yes. He was like, I'm not going to deal with this. It's like, and at the same time, you got Muhammad trolling him on the X. And he's just like, hey, did he get his time right? He goes, maybe Leon thinks it's 5 a.m., I think he said. Ah, man. I was like, dude, you seriously in it? But I mean, last week you went with Shauna Bannon. You did win. And of course, I had Shauna Bannon in one of my DFS lineups that won. So that was really cool. But, bro, Pooja knocked her silly on the ground. Then she went for the ground and pound. And then I seen that arm slip out. It went under. And I'm like, nope, here it goes. Armbar. Done.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all.
No, not from Bannon. From Bannon. Nobody was. But I'll tell you, I will say this. Nathan Fletcher, I thought, won that fight. But Laurent, he did well. It was a close fight overall. And that was one of those fights that go back and forth. And again, that's what we want to cover here at the Fight Club of Pain. Everybody else is covering things and doing videos all week long. We're just part of the sauce at this, right? Right, Dan? Yep. But so we're gonna attack the 4 that people are very, very uneasy about, man. And I know you're down.
I'm down. Let's go.
You are down. So Fletcher got robbed, but whatever, he lost that fight. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Tabura lost to Mick Parkin. That was a horrible, horrible call. They do say, what did you think about that?
I agree. He lost every round. I think he lost every round.
And the fact is even if you give the third round to Tabira, you got it. I don't know that the second round that the judges were watching, that was pathetic. Yeah. I thought Parkin had the second round knockout easily at that point.
I agree.
And then here we go. We go to the third round. Tabira gets a couple seconds, an extra couple hits. Honestly, watching both of them, they both were sloppy the whole fight.
Oh, that whole fight was sloppy.
Yeah. So everybody know that I will be giving out a DFS lineup at the end. We will also give out some bold picks and everything. So we're going to go through the fights. And everything else, I got to give a shout out to Chris the Problem Duncan for kicking Vucinich's ass. Literally going into that fight and letting everybody know that he can win. And nobody really gave him a shot other than a few other people. I mean, I had Vucinich's winning, but I also had Duncan because Duncan was cheap for the DFS lineups. Yeah. So for me, it was one of those plays. But again, this is where, I covered my ass. Under 2.5 rounds. If the dude that you think is a superhero, and we'll talk maybe about a couple of those guys, and you think he's going to finish somebody under 2.5 rounds, just play under 2.5 rounds. Seriously. Right now, it's hitting. And in the main event, it's hit. It hit last time, covered, and it was a positive. So we need to hit those. We need to hit them hard, people, because that's going to get you your money. And then we'll earn you some more money for baseball as well, too, because that's what we do with Dr. Roto. All right, buddy. You got anything to add before we move on to the new card, UFC Mexico?
I'm actually excited about this UFC Mexico card, man.
I know you were. You said it at the beginning of the week. You were like, I love a lot of these fighters. Talk about it. So what are some of the fighters that you love on this card other than the 4 we're going to cover?
Oh, man. Just the 4 we're going to cover. I love Gastelum.
You're good.
I've always liked Gastelum, but I also like Pfeiffer.
Okay.
So that's a great matchup. Raul Ruiz.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
good.
a 21-year-old phenom. He's a phenom.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and you have another one of those on this card too. When you have Gutier, man, like. But go on, I ain't cutting you off, man. Keep it going, bro.
Drew Dauber. I like Drew Dauber. He's a scrapper.
Yeah.
And he's fighting a scrapper too, and Torres.
Manuel Torres. Oh, dude. I cannot wait to get into this right here. So let's just start it up right now. We have so many fights, so many things going on, man. So let's do it. Let's do Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Did a little echo for everybody. Hope y'all love that out there. Bro, what do you got going on?
I really didn't look at this fight. I didn't look at this fight at all. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What's the
not gonna lie to you. I didn't look at this fight.
He was like, "Why are you picking the first fight?" He'd override. Yeah. I'll tell you why I picked the first fight.
Very first fight. I gotta look it up.
I want the main card. I want the main card, man. I'm telling. So while Dan looks that up, because I feel
what am I looking at?
Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. So Ronaldo Rodriguez, a negative 162 at the time I wrote this down, to Borjas, who is a plus 136 at the time I wrote this down. These numbers have been changing all week, all day long, and will change one more. So that being said, Rodriguez is the favorite. We all know that. We all know what Rodriguez brings to the ring. He brings his fight game, kicks, he loves kicks. But Borjas, man, Borjas has hands. Borjas just can't get caught in any takedowns. Borjas has to fight a great fight and stop trying to be a phenom. Because I think that if he stops that and he just settles down and fights, I think we have a dog that we can definitely put in. And I have him targeted in my DFS lineups as well. What'd you pick out?
I pulled it up, but I know who Boras is. I don't know the other fighter. I don't know the other fighter at all. Not gonna lie to you, but
Okay.
I mean Boras does have good stand up, really
Okay.
good stand up,
All right.
and he's good at takedown defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the other guy brings to the table, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you stumped
So
me on this one, man. You stumped
I
me.
did, because you know how I got you? Borjas.
Yeah.
I saw that. So Dan wrote down Rojas Jr., right? So I'll cover that fight. I actually will cover that fight too. So we'll actually just pop to it. So I'm picking Boras on this fight. You guys are actually going to get 5. You're going to get 5 fights now, because Dan brought one and I brought one. So I caught him off guard, but he ain't catching me off guard, because I definitely went to that wrong side. So we're going to go right to Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales. Rojas at the time is a negative 310, and Morales is a plus 250. Talk about this fight, Dan.
Raul Rojas. He's 21-year-old. He's a phenom.
Mm-hmm.
He has that unique look, a unique demeanor,
Yep.
fantastic wrestling,
Yep.
and his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is off the
Phenomenal.
charts.
Just phenomenal.
But he's fighting Vince Morales, who is the soup can of the division. He's literally winless in the UFC. He's never won, not once. He's 0-5 in the UFC. He's probably the worst person Rojas has fought in the UFC.
And you're probably correct with that.
Yeah.
You know, this fight is being predicted to end early. So this is one of those fights, like I said, you take the under. Does it go to the distance? No. Does it go under? And I'm going to hit those numbers for you right now. We're not just going to play around, people. I'm going to give you the live numbers right now on this fight, and we're going to weigh out. So actually, Rojas Jr. has moved up to a negative 480. So it sucks for all of you that didn't get his early week action, because I got that negative 310, which is a lot better than that negative 480. And Morales has moved to a plus 330 as of right now. So the fight will go the distance. This is the funniest thing. Noah's a plus 112 right now. I'm smashing that. I'm going to smash it, and I'm going to put my Dodger money on it, because the Dodgers are going to win me a lot of money here. They already probably are winning a lot of money, because I got notifications going on. I ain't looking at the game. Hey, if anybody pops into the chat and starts all chatting it up here, I'm like, hey, I'm with you. I am with you, people. I am with you. But I don't want to know about the Dodgers right now. So, that being said, does this fight go to distance? No, 112. At that point, anybody wins under them rounds. You got it. Total rounds under 2.5 plus 140. That's a hell of an odd, people. You definitely want to get that. You get that. You pair that with the fighter you think that's going to win. Because if you think that, and more likely, Rojas Jr. will win. When you get that and you parlay that together, it actually is a plus 184. And the fact that FanDuel is letting you do an under and a 2.5 together is that. And now they're not going to do it, because they know they're going to be like, that damn heat override keeps calling us out on the self, just the way I did for football tackles last year. So that stuff. So, all right, man. Who's your pick?
The Rojas Jr., man. He's a submission second round.
Okay. All right. You know what? I love that you said that too, because you know what I love to do. So if I'm going to go a submission in second round, everybody right now that's been following the Fight Club of Pain, ooh yeah, the Fight Club of Pain, dig it? Yeah, knows that if you get a plus 550 on a round 2 and round 3 submission, you get a plus 350 on a round 1, round 2. Right there, if you think he's going to win early, you hit the 350. That's all you do, people. You don't need to mess around. You can't parlay those things. We know this, right? But you just hit it because that right there alone is better than all that other stuff put together. So yes, if Raul wins, takes him down, and gets the pin, you get everything, right? But that's three things that need to happen. But if you just do round 1 and 2, bang, you cover yourself with the other bet. So right now, my regular bet of 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 are going to cover that. So if he wins in the first or second round or third, the second and third round, I'm going to win that single bet and I'm going to win that parlay unless it goes over the 2.5 minute mark, which would then be the loss for that. If anybody's keeping up, I hope you are, because that right there, lock that shit in. Yeah.
He's wrestling a soup can, man. He's wrestling
soup cans.
Yeah. Rose Jr. is basically fighting the Brooklyn Brawler right now.
No shirt included, except this Brooklyn Brawler. This Brooklyn Brawler had his shirt was so old it disintegrated with the sweat.
Yeah, he's the jobber of the UFC.
He's the jobber, people. He's a little jobber. All right. So we got that little fun night. Now we're going to... I think we're going to have a problem on this fight. Kevin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Talk to me, dude. Talk to me, dude.
Oh, I'm a big Kelvin Gastelum fan. I love the Burrito Bandit, man.
The Burrito Bandit.
He's a UFC vet. I mean, he's solid in boxing and wrestling. He used to be elite, but he can't stop eating.
No, and you know what? I think all that eating has made his jaw weak because his jaw has become weaker, which is why so many people think that Joe Pyfer is going to knock him out. Yeah, however,
Gastelum has great cardio because just to spite all the burritos.
He's got to wash it down with that Mountain Dew live wire. He's just like slam. Right. So, dude, you brought that up. That's so funny. So earlier I saw a meme about Tanner Beebe for the Guardians missing today. About a year ago, his guy goes and reports that Beebe always has Chipotle before he plays a game. Well, today, Beebe missed a game because he was sick.
Maybe he was eating with Kelvin Gastelum.
He's probably eating. Yeah, because you know what happened to him? BB's ass went Chipotle. But I mean, a lot of people's asses is burning down in Mexico right now.
Joe Pyfer's good though, man. He's good.
I know he is.
He's a powerhouse, and he's a rising prospect.
Yes,
he has power in both hands, but he lacks the gas tank Kelvin Gastelum has.
That is so correct, man. It's Gastelum. Guys, they're probably because he farts when they're down, and he probably, I don't know if Tex is gonna get out crazy with that, but that's what happened, man. That's just like, when you're looking at that fight right here. I will tell you this: I have Gastelum on one of my really, really, really nice DFS lineups that I showed you earlier in the week, and maybe he's in the lineup that's coming up soon at the end of this one. But regardless of that, it was so hard for me to ignore Joe Pyfer and the knockout ability. I also, so Joe Pyfer, they kind of have it go in the distance because the distance is a -102, but they have it not going the distance as a -124. So they think it's going to go, there's going to be a knockout, but they're not giving Pyfer a strong knockout number. They're giving him a +280, which isn't that strong, which means if it's not that strong, then this fight could go the distance. If it's going to go the distance, then you're going to want to play the overs and those things. But here's also the method. Let's go to the round betting. The round betting, of course, is going to be the total rounds, be 2.5 under. This is why I tell all of you to always check your bets and your sites. The under 2.5 is a +118, which you expect. But that tells you something. That becomes a positive. They think that this fight may end at the end. So, from what I'm seeing from FanDuel is that they think the last minute to 30 seconds of this fight may become a slugfest and that Piper's going to win and knock him out in the last 30 seconds. Is that what you're reading off of this, Dan?
That's what I saw, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Nope. Just go ahead. You were about to say something.
Oh no, I think Joe Pfeiffer comes in and he throws everything in the kitchen sink at Calvin Gastelum for the first round and a half. And I think Calvin's boxing is too slick for him.
Yeah.
I think he's too slick. His head movement's too smooth, and I don't think Pfeiffer's going to hit him with the big shot. Yeah. I think it goes the distance. I really do.
Okay. So, do you think either fighter to win wins in rounds 1 and 3? That would be if this fight goes the distance and a fighter wins the first round in the third round, which is right now a plus 140, and you think that that's a possibility? You think the first and third, or do you think that the fighter that wins this wins the second and third?
That might be a possibility because Joe Pfeiffer comes out and he wins almost every first round that he's in.
Okay. Yep. Volume. I agree with that. 100.
Calvin Gastelum likes to read people, and he usually wins the second and third round. Okay. So if Pfeiffer wins, he's going to win 1 and 3. If Gastelum wins, he'll win 2 and 3.
Okay. All right. I like that. And just to throw it out there right now, if you look at Pfeiffer, he's got a negative 154 points in knockout. Again, another way to cover yourself, people. That's what we got. So who do you got winning, Dan?
I think the Burrito Bandit wins by decision. Calvin Gastelum.
Take that. Why? This is all right. I'm going Joe Pfeiffer. I just love the knockout. But look, a lot of people in the industry think that Gastelum is going the distance and he's going to take it. Hey, I am taking Pfeiffer heavy for the betting, but I will pray with all of you that Gastelum goes, and if he does win, then that's going to spell stupendous for my DFS lineup. Because I have him. I already said it. I'm in deep on him on that for DFS. Look, I want it, and I think I can get him low owned. Last week I got Caio Hernandez at 11%. 11%. That is freaking phenomenal in a DFS contest, especially UFC. Now, to be like transparent with the rest of the industry and everybody that's watching to understand that we'll bring it up to baseball today, right? Guess who had Burke for the White Sox starting? Me. Who's the shitty pitcher whisperer? Me. Guess who started Burke today? Me. And guess what he was owned? On DK, he was 0.86% owned. And on FanDuel, he is a 1.86% owned. That 11% by Caio Hernandez is like a 1% chance on a baseball slate. People, I can't tell you the stuff that we're kicking out here. And that lineup was available in the Dr. Roto Subs Only Discord at the beginning of the week. So that's why you got to be a member. Look, if you don't want all the articles, you don't want to use all the tools, you have to get to Dr. Roto and you have to join the Subs Only Discord, which is part of all of your packages, or just buy the Subs Only Discord. I'm telling you, man, it's so much fun. Dan, if you were in there, you'd be like, football season's bonkers. There's probably
I'll join during football season.
You know what? I'm sure we can work something out. So I'm taking Pfeiffer. Are you taking Robert? You're taking Borjas, aren't you?
I'm taking Calvin Gastelum.
Well, I know you picked. I know you got him. I'm going back to Kevin Borjas. Are you taking? You're taking Borjas or Rodriguez?
I'm taking Borjas.
All right, good. You're on my roll. Borjas, another great DFS play. I know y'all people. Also, make sure you guys keep your eyes out to Dr. Roto because I have my 5 tastic picks already done. already done. And I'm not going to tell you. You have to go to the site to get that stuff. All right, let's move along. We're getting to the co-main event. We got Manuel Torres versus Judoma. What's up, Dan? Drew's your boy. You was already running your mouth about him. Just go keep it. Just start running it now.
I love this fight. I love this fight, and I think it's the hardest to predict. It is. It's the hardest to predict.
It really is.
Manuel Torres, he's aggressive and powerful.
Ooh, his striking's sexy.
But he lacks a gas tank and durability.
Yep.
He can't take a hit. He can't take a hit. All of his fights in the UFC have lasted one round.
Yep. So everybody doubts him.
He definitely has the reach advantage, but he needs to start fast and finish early.
I agree with that. And I'm going to throw this in there too, because everybody else is throwing it in there. We got a higher elevation, people. So if you have bad cardio, it's going to be exposed.
It's going to be worse.
So you think Drew Dober can actually swing with him at all? Or do you think he's only going to need to be able to swing with him and then he's going to have to approach a takedown?
I think Drew Dober is durable. And this dude can punch with anybody in that division.
Okay.
He really can. He has power.
I'm not gonna doubt it.
He has power in both hands. But I mean, he's basically became the gatekeeper for that division.
Okay, I love that, gatekeeper. People hashtag that, gatekeeper.
He's become the gatekeeper for that division, because if you beat Drew Dober, you go on to the top 5 and you get a title shot eventually.
Yep. You're correct again. And you know, the thing is I do want to say that this fight started out with Torres as the favorite. It has shifted to Dober. Dober right now is a negative 118 on FanDuel, and Torres is a negative 108. It was a 105 a second ago. It moved to a 108. It tells you the betting that's going on in this. So the fight going the distance, it says it's a negative 750. No.
It's not going to go to distance.
And that negative 750, you don't bet that, people. You don't bet that, because it's not. I mean, the 2.5 rounds, under 2.5 rounds is a negative. Oh, actually, I am 100% wrong. Under 1.5 rounds is a negative 176. Over 1.5 rounds is a plus 138. So I do want to talk about that for a second. If this fight does get out of the first round, the odds will shift towards Dober. He will become the stronger fighter by the end of this fight.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
I do, but he is at a disadvantage in reach. And he has to overcome that initial just onslaught that Manuel Torres brings.
Yeah.
If he survives the first 2 minutes of the fight, Drew Dober wins.
All right. You know, and you're not the first person to say that. I totally agree with that too. Although I am on the Torres side, because I just feel that this is going to end fast like a lot of the people, but I don't want to be like in with that. I don't want to be like, hey, we're all going to do this. Let's just go take him and Torres while everybody else is making the sway now. But now that Torres has become more of the dog in a way, and that shows what kind of fight up. And again, going back to why we want to tackle these hard fights. So when you get it, man, Torres round 1 knockout is a plus 400. That's not as good as what we were looking at earlier. But if you do the 1 and 2 round, you get the plus 240. So what I would do as a bettor in this one, I would play the Manuel Torres plus 1 and 2, covering yourself, and then I would fly up to the over 1.5. So you throw that on there. So if he doesn't clear him out, you cover that bet with the other bet, because you still get a plus 138. So you're still going to return double your money. Just make sure that if you put up a unit on it or 2 units on it, whatever your unit size is, 5, 10, 100, make sure you cover that, because one of these is going to happen. And when it happens, you're either going to be a rich friend or a richer friend. Man, it's like what we do, man. So you're taking Dober, aren't you?
I think he gets past that initial powerful, aggressive onslaught, and I think Drew Dober wins by knockout in the second round.
What? Here's the crazy thing about that. Here's the crazy thing. People, FanDuel actually believes his ass. They believe him because Drew Dober knockout in the first or second rounds a plus 195. That's even better than that. So right there, Dan doesn't know that. I bring the numbers from the sport books. Dan does bet, but Dan does not bet like I bet. He's not dove. I mean, I have had my head so far up the sites today's, but that has just been crazy. But that's baseball for you, right? But at that being said, look, dude, that tells me right there that if we go to how this fight will end, the knockout is a negative 230. So if you're that scared, if everybody's that scared, and you don't want to play it down the middle, you don't want to wedge yourself, then you just go knockout, negative 230. End of discussion. If just put 2 units on it, you win, you lose, you lose. That's the way it goes. But outside of that, you know what I'm going for. I'm going for the big numbers. Yeah. So, all right, we got that in that. So, you know what time it's for? It's time for the bread and butter. It's time for the Macho Man to show up because he's the main event. Ooh, yeah. Cream of the crop rising to the top. Everybody's going to be like, why are these guys doing the macho hands? Ooh, yeah. But you know why? Because a lot of people should just pop on to MSN, Dr. Roto at MSN, read all of my wrestling articles. We had the favorite cheat meals come out, got the best matches, the best venues. Wait till you see what I got coming out next week. Man, it's going to be another fun one. But it has something to do with main events, and you can guess that out. But this main event is Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. Because that's all you're about. Oh, wait, what?
I love this fight. I love this fight.
Talk about it then, Dan.
Oh, we'll man. Brandon Moreno is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. I love this guy. He looks just like McLovin. He is.
What?
Brandon Moreno, Google it.
I didn't know who the hell you were talking about the whole time. I mean, I know what Brandon Moreno looks like, but guess what? I've never seen McLovin. I've never seen the movie.
You got to Google it. Google it.
I mean, I know what McLovin looks like, but the minute you said it, at first I was like, man, who's he talking about? So then I just left it, and now I just got it.
Brandon Moreno looks just like McLovin that can fight. I love it.
No burrito included.
Yeah, but
Brandon
Moreno is one of the most well-rounded fighters on the UFC roster, period.
I agree.
I mean, he has crisp combos, well-timed scrambles, and durability.
Yep.
Like that man can take a punch.
Yep. Another Chepe. And
to be honest, I think he won his last fight against Brandon Royval.
Okay.
I think he won that last fight. But
yeah, I heard about that too. Yep.
I mean, with his boxing, he showed how technical he could be. But Steve Erceg, his aura has fallen off in the last 14 months, man.
Yeah.
The last 14 months. He's
become stale. Go on.
I mean, he hurt Pantoja when he fought him for the title. He hurt him. He almost won that fight, and a lot of people think he won that fight.
That's correct. I and that's one of those things where that name Pantoja just gets you that win.
He's so good.
But can't wait to talk about him one day.
But after that fight, it got followed by, a first round knockout by Kai Kara France.
Yep.
He just got obliterated in the first round.
That's right.
I mean, and he's lost any momentum he's had.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's facing another precision guy.
That has a very long jab to throw in there as
Yeah.
well, too.
And if this goes deep in the rounds, Steve Erceg
Mm-hmm.
has a tendency to take a couple rounds off. He'll play defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is a 5-round fight. All right.
Yeah.
And because it's 5 rounds, you have to have, again, comes back to the stamina thing. Moreno's been there, and he's been there with some of the best of them. Now, I know that Erceg has been in there with some good ones, too. Some great ones, actually. Just the 2 names you mentioned, Pantoja, Kaikara France. Like, these are great, great fighters. But we're fighting at a different elevation. We're also fighting Brandon Moreno right now, and he's reeling. And that's what we're talking at. And right now, you know, when you're looking at the 5 rounds of betting and the total rounds, the under on this is a 4.5, the over is a 240, and the fight going the distance is a negative 215. So that right there tells me that they think that this is going to go the distance, that Moreno is not going to be able to finish him. And that being said, that's going to be one of the biggest things that they're taking from this.
I don't agree with that.
You think he's finishing him?
I think he's going to finish him. Yeah.
So what do you, so we'll just run it. Do you think it's a knockout or do you think it's a submission?
I think Brandon Moreno wins by knockout, technical knockout in the 4th round.
Rob. Yeah, I like it. And I'll tell you too, right now, Moreno straight up, his knockout's a 380, but how the fight will end, knockout is a 270. Now, of course, the points, that's an easy bet. If you think it's going to go the distance, you throw the points on and you win it. Doesn't matter if win, lose, or draw. Whoever, well, draws, you still lose. But the winner gets that. So you win no matter which way. But you're talking about, you know, knockouts. Look, they won't even play. This FanDuel right now doesn't even have a knockout round combo. Like, they're not doing a 1 and a 2. They're not doing a 2, 3, and 4 for Moreno. They're not doing that. But they're doing submissions. They're doing submissions. So the only way you're going to be able to get your knockouts right here would be, it's going to be, if you're going to choose Moreno to knock out, you have to literally nail the round. And it starts at a +1, a plus 1100, and then it goes 1200, 13, 18, 22. Erceg, now that's your round betting, right? And when you go up to the method, Brandon Moreno knockout in round 1 is 1600, and it's a 1700 for 2, 3, and it goes on from there. And then his submission is 32. So this tells you that FanDuel is playing for the distance, and they're not going to offer any kind of round combinations at this time. This is Thursday, so if you watch this on Friday or Saturday morning, people, that bet may be there. But as of right now, Thursday at 8:10 at night, that bet does not exist because it's just one of those things that they do. But what does exist and what you could play is Moreno knockout TKO or points -180. I totally love that bet. That's a decent number on that. You have the favorite. You got either, as long as he don't tap him out, knockout, points. That's how I'm hitting it.
You didn't say who you think's going to win this fight.
Oh, Moreno. I'm all in on Moreno. I mean, I know we're a little different on this week. We have 3 different picks. Honestly, the only fight that we agree with, well, or we agree with, is the Rojas and Borjas. Those are the only 2 fights that do it. So looking over the entire card, anything stick out? What wild thing do you think can happen on this card?
Oh, that Manuel Torres Drew Dober fight, man, that's going to be that's going to be fight of the night.
You think so? Okay.
Oh, I think it's going to be a barn burner. They're going to stand in the middle and just throw.
Oh man, you're so right on that. Yeah, and I'm all piecing that together. I'm just like, oh, dude, it's going to be so easy. But when I'm talking, what I'm going at is, I think, and I agree with that, but I think David Martinez is definitely getting the knockout. And David Martinez knockout in round 1 or 2 is a plus 200. That's very low. That tells you that he's just going to put Oliveira to sleep. Now, there is a method for Oliveira to win this if he can stay on his feet or shoot and take Martinez down. If he takes Martinez down, then he's good. But if he doesn't, he's getting knocked out. So I have Martinez as the knockout. And I'm gonna throw in, you know, we'll go check another fight out. We don't have to do too much to it. Then I want to just throw it out. I'm looking for definitely big things. I want to leave something for all of you, and then I'm going to give you my DFS lineup after this. So when I'm going into here, I want to go to. We didn't talk about Edgar Cherriez. We didn't talk about him and it was Vergara, right? So
yeah, Vergara, CJ Vergara.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now, the Cherriez knockout is 500. 500. It's like, if you think that that's going to happen, that's the number you want to play. So I'm going to tell this right now. Round 2 or 3 knockout by Edgar Cherriez. If I'm saying that right. If I am not, I am sorry. Is a plus 1,000. If you right now fly up to, so people like when I'm talking about this, and I say they're undecided with this. This is a negative 110 to go to distance, negative 116, right? If you go to round betting, the round 1 knockout or him to win in round 1 is only 600. Play the double bet. We don't care about, the round to win, you get the submission and you get the thing, but if you're going to do that, play a double chance. Right? Plus 140 for knockout and submission for Edgar Cherriez. If you want the points, it's a negative 105. That's dead even. That's dead even. That's what you want to play right there. And for me, that's if we fly back to it, Vergara is plus 440 just in points. They don't think he's going to win at all. So what do you think about those numbers? What would you be looking at?
What I don't know what all the numbers are on that fight.
Mm-hmm. But if you picked a round in a knockout to happen by either fighter, what would it be?
A round and a knockout.
Mm-hmm.
Probably round.
Round 2. What you got? Yep.
I got round 2.
So that's a plus 1,600. People, let's hit those. Let's hit the plus 1,600. Let's hit the round 1. This is, again, another combo bet that we're going to do. Round 2 is the knockout. Round 1, round 2. Round 2, round 3. Because round 1, round 2 is plus 700. Round 2, round 3 is plus 300. We're getting all those numbers. Hey, that's what we do. We want to give those out to all of you. Make sure you got it. All right, let's get to the DFS lineup. All right, last week we took some losses. But think about that DFS lineup. If Parkin gets that decision, he scores 20 more points, 30 more points. Win more money, right? If Fletcher gets that decision, that's more points on top of that. Literally finished almost 100 out of like bigger money outside of that. So hopefully we can catch it this week. So with that being said, let's get it down. Moreno, Gastelum, Martinez, Torres, Borjas, Rojas Jr. It's funny how that whole lineup worked out because those were a lot of the fights that we talked about.
Yeah.
Feeling good, people. All right.
Oh, man, you stumped me once. You stumped me.
I did. Hey, I threw a curveball.
You did.
I did. And just for everybody, now that we know that we're in our own little world and we're coming out, the Dodgers and the Tigers are tied 1-1 in the top of the 5th. That is no surprise. Both Skubal and Snell are on the mounds, and they can bring the heat. Skubal is one of the best pitchers in the league that if you're not talking about him, he's up there. He is no different than your boy Skeens. I mean, he isn't getting the name. Skeens is just special. But Skubal, he was part of, the Erie Seawolves. He's definitely doing it. So the Dodgers are going to finish that game hard. Right now, the over 5.5 is a negative 102. So even FanDuel thinks that there's going to be some runs. And those runs will be the Dodgers. There's a free baseball bet right now, people. Live. All right, Dan.
You asked me earlier. The Pirates lost, buddy.
Ah!
Pirates lost.
Oh, that sucks, man. But it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It happens. It happens.
It's going to be a lot worse for Pittsburgh if you guys don't find a quarterback. Seriously. You might have to play quarterback.
Paul Skeens, 5-inning pitched, 7 strikeouts.
I don't want to hear that. The bet I suggested in my lineup was 8. And he got pulled after 0.3 in that. I'm just like, dude.
5 and 7.
Man. But he was close. We actually thought the 8 was a positive. I did want to go with 7, but the 8 was a plus 105. So I went with that.
He gave up 2 walks today, too, which is terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's game 1. That's what we do.
Game 1. That's it.
It is. All right, Dan. Give a goodbye to everybody.
See you later, guys.
Hey, we'll be back next week. Have a great day, everybody. And always remember to bring the pain. And may the fights be with you. Ooh, yeah.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.